Just an odd situation, and it wasn't like Rachel at all.
How long has Roxy's car been parked out there?
A couple of days now. I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting kind of worried.
After a couple days, the manager sees that her car is still in the parking lot, and he starts making calls to find out if anybody's seen her.
That car was her lifeline to school, to go wherever she had, like, she needed that car. So I did have a really bad feeling.
Somebody said they got a call from her father who was looking for her. And that's when it got a little more serious.
Hi, this is Rachel's dad. I'm good, how are you?
Her parents and friends knew what she did. They weren't very happy with it, but they resolved themselves to, this is her life, this is what she wants to do.
Hey, have you seen her in the last couple of days? If you see her, will you please let her know I'm looking for her, tell her to call me?
Rachel would contact her father just so he wouldn't worry, and when she wasn't communicating with him, that's when he started to get concerned.
Rachel's loved ones are stunned when they learn the grim news that Rachel has been murdered.
The family was devastated when they found out. At first, they couldn't believe that it was her at the bottom of that bridge.
They were absolutely distraught by the news that their Rachel had been murdered.
When I heard on the news that they had found Rachel, my emotions were everywhere. It was shock, disbelief. It was a lot. It was a lot.
There was a note that said, Rachel Ciani's funeral is going to be here at this day, at this time. And I was just like, oh my God, like she's dead.
It was just such a shame that such a sweet kid like that could have something like that happen.
We know this was a murder, but who did it?
Detectives now know the identity of the young woman found dead under the Pennsylvania Turnpike Bridge. 21-year-old Rachel Ciani.
As far as who could have done this to her, we keep all avenues open. Anything is possible.
As the investigation begins, it is unclear if Rachel was the victim of a sexual assault. The lab results come back turning up nothing.
Unfortunately, in this case, the police were stymied and there was no successful retrieval of any DNA.
It was unknown to us why they couldn't find any DNA. It could have just not been under there, or at that time, we didn't have instrumentation sensitive enough in order to detect it.
Detectives know they have their work cut out for them if they're going to find Rachel's killer. Their first step is to talk to the young woman's family.
Hi.
Mr. Ciani, Detective Villamel, and once again, we're sorry for your loss. Do you mind if we come in to ask you a few questions?
Absolutely. This way, please.
One of the important questions that the police were able to ask the family was whether or not they knew that she had any enemies.
Can you tell us if Rachel had any issues with any friends or ex-boyfriends, any problems with anyone?
No, I can't think of anyone. She was a lovely girl. Everyone really loved her.
Family members told police they just couldn't envision her having any enemies.
I understand she worked at a club. Did she have any issues with any of the patrons or maybe management or coworkers? Did she get along with them?
Not to my knowledge. We didn't really talk about that very much. She kind of kept that life to herself.
But detectives sense there is more to the story than Rachel's father is telling them.
Initially, Rachel tried to hide the fact that she was going to be working as a dancer from her family. Ultimately, they did find out about it. They were not happy. No parent would be happy knowing that their daughter was a dancer.
Hey, Rach.
Hey, Dad.
How you doing?
Good. Doing well in all my classes.
I really want to hear that. Are you still working down at that place?
Yeah, Dad. I'm making a lot of money there. How else am I going to pay for the tuition?
There was an ongoing feud about her dancing. They didn't want anything to do with it.
I want you to be safe.
I always am, don't worry.
just worry about you. I love you.
I love you too, Dad.
Rachel did have a close relationship with her father. They resolved themselves to, this is her life, this is what she wants to do. Although what she was doing wasn't the safest job in the world, she still was trying to better herself by going to school and get some type of profession and start another life.
Rachel had her own private life and her family life, and she kept the two apart.
Do you mind if we take a look in her room?
Oh, sure, no problem. Take the stairs up to the left.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And they gathered some journals, some paperwork, some bills to see if there's anything we can find out that would lead us in the direction who did this to her.
Thank you once again. We'll return these shortly.
Thank you.
Next, the detectives go to Bucks County Community College.
Excuse me. Detective Duncan.
Hi.
Do you know Rachel Ciani?
I mean, she's in a few of my classes, but I don't know her well.
It was a commuter school, so you just saw that person in school, so no one can really provide information about her. She was very quiet, and she really didn't have any friends at school.
You know if she's part of any clubs or extracurricular activities?
And she's always peer studying,
Right.
but someone told me she may be an exotic dancer.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Sure.
Detectives proceed to Divas, the gentlemen's club just 25 miles outside of Philly, where Rachel was last seen on March 29th.
Working at a gentleman's club puts young ladies in a position where they are regularly in contact with older gentlemen who can also easily become obsessed with the fantasy of a younger woman who's paying attention to them.
It's an environment that is unfortunately ripe for drugs, alcohol, and various crimes. It brings a whole new perspective into the crime itself.
Police came and I started interviewing everybody.
Good evening, fellas.
I'm Detective Villamil. This is my partner.
Hey, what can I do you for?
I'm wondering if you've noticed anything unusual around here the last couple of nights.
There's always some questionable characters around here. Well, they spend money, so, you know.
These are places where dangerous people can be attracted to.
Rachel, she received a lot of male attention, and she was making a lot of money.
A lot of guys would watch her when she was on stage. She was a good dancer. First thing I thought was Sharon did this to her.
Hey, how's it going? Do you work here?
Yeah, I've been dancing here for a while.
We're detectives. We're working on the case about Rachel's death. Do you notice anything unusual? Anyone being...
Definitely. I think Jaron killed her.
Jaron.
We had a cook named Jaron. He was obsessed with Rachel.
He work here anymore?
No, he left or was fired or something. He was really creepy. He was always staring at her.
He was all about Rachel, and when she was on stage, he would come out of the kitchen and watch her. Things that he shouldn't have been doing.
Do you know where he works now?
I have no clue, I'm sorry. You definitely should check him out, though.
All right, well, thank you so much.
You wouldn't leave her alone.
I was like, oh my God, this man did something to her. My stomach was turning.
Police locate Jaron Hunter, a former employee at Divas, the club where Rachel danced.
She was so tiny, and he was so big, and freaked me out.
Jaron Hunter?
Yeah, who's asking?
I'm Detective Villamil.
Yeah?
I want to ask you a few questions about Rachel Ciani.
Yeah, I heard about what happened. She was hot.
He always liked to watch her dance. He tried to be her boyfriend. And at one point, he inappropriately touched her, and Rachel reported him, and he wound up getting fired from his position.
That is somebody who is a person of interest.
And where were you on March 28th and 29th?
Does it work?
And they can vouch for you?
Yeah. Give him a call.
All right, thank you for your time.
The police were able to obtain a list from him of all the people that he claimed that he was with at the time frame of this murder. And the police followed through on every single one of the people on that list.
Hey, this is Detective Villamil. Do you employ Jaron Hunter? And can you confirm if he was working on March 28th or 29th? Both? And what hours was he working?
The police determined that his alibi checked out.
Okay. That's it. Great, thank you. Bye-bye.
We eliminated him as a suspect.
Now back to square one. Investigators decide to change tactics. Detective Villamil contacts the Bristol Township PD, who were on patrol the night Rachel disappeared.
Yes, this is Detective Villamil. I was told that you were the officer on duty March 28th at Divas.
Once in a while, the police would have problems there. Drugs, fights, things going on in the parking lot that the people that lived in the area didn't like too much.
Did you see anything suspicious, anything out of the ordinary?
While talking with Bristol Township, whether they had any reports of anything, one of the patrol officers was parked in Diva's parking lot at about 2:30 in the morning. He saw a man banging on the front door.
He has his dispatch reach out to Divas to see if there's anything going on inside or why this person was doing that. And someone came outside and was familiar with this patron and said that everything was okay.
He identifies Rachel as the dancer who was leaving the club. However, it's unclear at that point who the gentleman was.
What are you doing? You have to calm down.
I was waiting at the...
I know, but they're not gonna let you in there if you keep acting like that, okay?
He then saw Rachel leave with this person and walk toward the Econo Lodge, which was right next door.
Just the two of them?
Everything seemed like it was fine.
Okay, great, thank you. Bye-bye.
The state police take down the description of the male from the patrol officer, and with that information, they go talk to people who work at Divas.
Excuse me, I'm Detective Villamil. I understand you work here?
Yeah.
I'm looking for a gentleman. He has a beard, about 5'11", kind of heavy set.
Oh, Jack? Yeah, he's a regular.
They identified the individual that was with Rachel as Jack, that he's a regular customer, and that he was okay.
Has he ever give you guys problems?
No, he gives us money. He's one of the best tippers.
Jack Denofa was a well-established businessman. He was 35 years old. He lived in an upscale area of Bucks County, about half an hour from Divas on the northern side of the county. And he had his own business, and apparently it was a successful business.
Some guys do like to go skiing or they like to go to the beach. Some guys like to go to gentlemen's clubs. There's nothing wrong with it. He wasn't doing anything illegal or immoral. He would go, flirt a little bit, have a good time, spend some money, feel like Hugh Hefner, and go home.
As far as I remember, everyone was happy when Jack was around.
Has he ever interact with Rachel? Or?
I mean, yeah, I think she's like his favorite.
Jack was spending a lot of money on Rachel, $200, $300, $400 a night, and was at the point where he would actually pay other dancers to leave him alone so he could focus on Rachel.
That's why he went there on Tuesday nights, because she was dancing on Tuesday nights. He would just talk to her, constantly giving her money, giving her attention.
Hi, Jack.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. You're so great up there.
Aw, thank you.
As always, you're amazing.
Oh, stop. You're too sweet.
It's not abnormal. Guys have a girl that they like, and especially back then. Again, these girls were mini celebrities.
So, did you make any new friends?
No.
No?
I'm here for you. Come on.
Good answer.
You're my favorite. You know that.
As long as Jack was there, she knew she was going to make her $300, $400. Do all the girls have to compete? Yeah. Do all the girls have to try to make money? Yeah. She didn't. She had Jack.
You are the prettiest girl here. You know that?
Oh, stop it.
It's true.
Oh, you're always buttering me up. You're so sweet.
Once we were able to ascertain Jack Denofa's name, we did a background check on him. He had a prior DWI arrest, nothing else.
Drinking seems to be a challenge for Jack. He has a previous DUI, He has multiple times had his keys taken from him while he was out. And it's reached the point where his wife will drive him down to Diva's and have him stay overnight at a nearby motel rather than drive home.
Jack's wife knew that he liked to get out, enjoy himself, and she didn't want him getting in trouble because he needed his license to drive. So she was okay with it.
By all accounts, Jack is a harmless guy who had a crush on Rachel. But detectives begin to have their doubts.
Jack DeNava just kept surfacing. He was last seen with her. It was throwing a lot of red flags to us. We kept him in our crosshairs at the same time eliminating other people. And when they panned out not to be anything, we just kept focusing back on him.
Jack DeNava brought a mixed bag to the table. On the one hand, everybody had good things to say about him. He was generous with the dancers. He was a gentleman with the dancers. However, when he had too much to drink, he became a different person.
Hey, can you get Rachel back out here? Hey, I'm talking to you. Do you know who I am? You got ears?
With more and more drinks, Jack can get more and more out of control, can get louder, can get angrier, and he can go from being a gentleman to really the Jekyll to Mr. Hyde.
A few dancers are able to identify DeNava as the man banging on the door later that night, until Rachel came out and left with him.
We started focusing our attention on him and what he did that night.